Let's just begin with the tale of the two halves, right? So you, TJ, you laid it out. The first half, I was like, maybe there's a staff member watching Michigan football at the Voice of College Football, because what did we see, TJ? We saw Donovan Edwards not starting the first snap in the slot, in the perimeter.
We had two running back sets with Edwards and Mullins. We had play actions. We had Orji rolling. We had slants. We had a lot of things that we talked about that they need to do, and they were doing it. And what did we see? We saw a 21-3 first half. They were achieving all of that. They were a little creative with the playbook. And what I mean by creative, I mean, obviously it was a simplified playbook, but I mean tailoring the playbook to fit Orji's skill set. And I thought they did an excellent thing. I thought the biggest issue for me in the first half was Orji's inability to throw the ball away. Sometimes I would like to see him, instead of taking a loss on a play, just throw it away, buddy. Like, you're outside the pocket, just get rid of it. You're good. That's something he needs to work on. That's inexperience. But the first half, I mean, look, the defense played well. The offense played well. I thought, they did a better job with Orji this game than last game, so that's promising. The offense obviously still has work to do. We'll see what they do there and what types of adjustments they make. And the second half, we know that. We see that. We love seeing Mullins as running back one, although we are seeing defenses really start to load the box. The Minnesota's leaky defense was not very leaky today. So that's a bit concerning, because as we continue through Big Ten play, and Tim Prangley, so shout out to Tim Prangley of our USC channel, he did say once there's film on our team, defenses are going to have a better idea of how to defend us. And we kind of saw Minnesota, I thought, did a better job than USC with that. And then we really need some wide receivers to step up, okay? Right now, for this game, I have it right here. Receiving, our leading wide receiver, I'm going to exclude Colson Loveland. 2 receptions for 24 yards. It was Kendrick Bell. Where is Tyler Morris? 1 reception for 11 yards for Tyler Morris.
Shocking.
And that's it. Kendrick Bell and Tyler Morris were the only wide receivers to get a reception today. We have a wide receiver problem. Not only do we have a quarterback issue, but we have a wide receiver problem. And I think we can all see that. Colson Loveland, 4 receptions for 44 yards. Not the greatest of days, but a solid outing considering what our offense is right now. I would label him solid. But yeah, I mean, we have a wide receiver problem, and that's definitely on the coaching staff. That's on Rem Bellamy. It's on Sharon Moore for not getting one in the portal. It's on Michigan for being stubborn about that. We won't get into that at this moment, but I'm sure the callers will bring it up. And then the other notes I have for the offense, John, is the interception that Orji threw. That he, Loveland was open, but there was a safety over top, giving support. Donovan Edwards along the sideline was wide open with no help over top.
Correct.
If he would have lobbed that ball, that was a guaranteed touchdown. Guaranteed touchdown. That's where Orji really needs to improve. We did see some improvement. He did have some moments where he was able to go through his progressions. We saw him starting to do that. But I also want to give a shout out. I think it was the Darren on Thursday, Darren Talks Ball, who's joining the Voice of College Football Network. He will be doing our Big Ten show on Mondays at 8 p.m. for the Big Ten channel of the Voice of College Football. He brought this up, and he's not wrong. It's going to be hard for Orji to get comfortable in the pocket and go through his progressions like a real quarterback when the offensive line does not give him the time to do that. And I saw today Evan Link on his ass a lot. So that's where I am with the offense, John. I do have some takes for the defense, but I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, we do have a super chat pertaining to this. Orji can't even run clock. Worst QB in FBS from Jobu. I'm not gonna go as far as to say he's the worst in the entire league, but I would say this. I mean, that was a rough interception. I will say that I was happy with some of the decisions that Kurt Campbell made in the first half. And like we talked about, having a multiple running back set, that's great. Having Donovan go out and have at least some aspect of a receiving threat, that's great. Colston Loveland, we missed him last week. We knew that when he came back that Orji, he was going to be the main target for Orji, and he absolutely was, with 41 passing yards for 4 receptions. But I'm going to just talk my thoughts on what I saw on the offense. 3 words: fire Ron Bellamy. Get out of here. Here's the thing. I'm not saying Brian Hartline's coming to Michigan, but you need somebody who knows the modern way of wide receiver play, who can still encourage them to block, because blocking gets the rock, right? No block, no rock. But at the same time, like, where's the separation? How come Colston Loveland is the best wide receiver and he's a tight end? How come Kendrick Bell? Look, I think it's great that Kendrick Bell's showing some promise. Big fan of Ronnie Bell. I'm glad that this little bro's getting some action here. But Tyler Morris, underperforming to this degree, makes me think that whatever they're doing in practice, whatever the drills are that they're running, it's just not cutting it. And I don't. You combine that with what we've heard about Sharon Moore saying, let's just keep going even if they don't perfectly execute a play.
And in my opinion, we see that, John. We see that on the field. We see the lack of fundamentals and sound play. I mean, I know there's some people who are like, I don't know if that's true. I mean, listen, that information came from one of the more legitimate sources in the Michigan sphere. It's something that, like, I also am like, is that possible? If that's possible, then we have a red flag with our coach. But when I watch the game, I see a team that, like, for example, the running play where Percy had a misassignment on blocking, and on the same play, Evan Link was thrown on his ass, and Khalil Mullins was stopped for a loss. I think it was the second to last drive we had. I mean, it's just it's a team that is, in the first half, definitely played better. Second half, they showed their inexperience. They showed a lack of fundamentals and a lot of miscommunications again. And then, and we'll get into defense, but I got some takes on Wink Martindale as well.
Yeah. Let's hit a couple of our contributors here with Drufus. The two, Go Blue, Ohio sucks. Yeah, absolutely. Throw out the emojis on that. We got the crying Ryan Day. We've got the last 3 years of Ohio State, Michigan scores. Absolutely. Third base. And then with Trent 23 tails with the 5 here, Nick Saban took Milroe out for an entire game. All I'm asking for is Tuttle for 1/2 and then put Orgy back. TJ, is Tuttle still considered injured, or?
Yep. So he is still injured. He's still not even practicing. Apparently he's dealing with an elbow injury. I don't know the severity of that injury, but it's obviously has taken him out of fall camp into the regular season. I do think, though, if Tuttle gets healthy, you will see, I think you'll see Sharon Moore experiment. I do. Even though I believe you should continue with Alex Orji right now. I thought Alex Orji actually showed a lot of promise. I think he needs more time on task. Now, guys, I'm talking about considering our options. Like, granted, yes, we need an upgrade here. Okay. I'm not saying like I'm content with what we have. I'm saying with our options, we need to really invest into Orji right now, because I think we saw some growth today in him, and he was able to throw, some passes, intermediate and short. I think that they need to just continue to get creative with guys in motion, more slants, better use of. We finally saw Donovan Edwards also lining up in the slot and at wide receiver, which was nice. More of that, please. We also just need receivers to really step up, because they're not getting open.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. We saw some promise, but I think it's an indictment. I think when the team falls apart in the second half, that's an indictment on the coaching.
Oh yeah.
On the what are they saying in the halftime speech? What are they doing to adjust? Clearly not much, because Minnesota was able to kind of figure things out and take over the game in the second half for large. Like, this is Minnesota. This isn't Ohio. This isn't, US. Oregon. This isn't Texas. This isn't USC even. This is Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, so here I've thought about that, John. The adjustments at half, because obviously a tale of two halves. Michigan was the worst team in the second half, but I thought about it and I was like, you know what? We are so one-dimensional offensively. What adjustments can even be had? They know what we're gonna do. Now, maybe you can get a couple creative passing plays in. Maybe a flea flicker to throw him off, but Orji has to hit it. We are so limited offensively. I don't know what adjustments can even really be had. I think the coaches really put themselves. Let's also acknowledge that the coaching staff did this to themselves with their lack of ambition to get a quarterback or wide receiver in the portal. This is their responsibility to put weapons on the field. They are digging their own grave right now. Now, granted, we're not calling for the coach's job. Well, John just called for Ron Bellamy's job.
Yeah, Ron Bellamy needs to fucking go.
But like we're not. I'm not saying he's fire Sharon. I'm saying it's this is a good way to get your seat warm. Is all I'm saying. Like if you take this approach, this lackadaisical approach with the talent on the field, yeah, you don't last long doing that type of stuff. So they better get it together. I'm sure it's a nice wake up call. We've already heard Dave Portnoy make a call to arms saying, listen, I'll throw $3 million a year to get us a quarterback because this is unacceptable. And this is kind of what we talked about, John. We talked about, well, what is the positive to this poor play? And the positive is it'll wake people up. It'll smack you in the face and it'll make you realize you got work to do. So I do think Michigan, I think the positive we can take as a fan base, and John, I'd still want to talk about defense here before we get to our callers, but the positive we can take as a fan base is everyone sees what we're all seeing. And I assure you that this is not an acceptable result. And I assure you that people in administration, athletic department, they realize they need to do better. I'm quite confident that that's going to be the case there. We already know that donors are becoming more motivated in that aspect. And not to go down that road because we will. I'm sure callers will bring it up. But I'm just saying, like, there is positive, and the positive is with failure or with results, not to expectation, changes are made. So
how about
looking for that?
Yeah, absolutely. And so how about we tackle all these, because almost all these super chats pertain to the offense, and then we'll hit your defensive takes. How about that?
Okay. Yep.
All right. So Nick with the 2, like we've been saying the whole show already, this team is capable but inconsistent. Clean it up. Abso-frickin-lutely. Elisha with the 5, I've been saying it all season. Wide receivers are the biggest issue on this offense. O-line is gelling. You mentioned Evan Link as the exception to that, but they've improved as a unit, I would argue, since game 1. But we still have no explosiveness in the pass game. 100%, Elisha.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And here's one on Bellamy. Nick, does Bellamy teach his wide receivers to go down every week?
I don't know what he teaches these wide receivers. I don't know what he does in the coaching room. I don't know what he does on the recruiting trail either. I mean, although he did land Andrew Marsh, so hats off. But
yeah, that's his one. That's his one thing. And also Roman Wilson had a great season last year.
And Jacob Washington from Louisiana, that's a good get as well. I mean, he's done okay. We had Philip Wright, but you do okay. You got to keep going, man. Do more.
Elisha with the 10. Thank you so much. And you have helped us. We are already, with all these super chats, we only need $42 to get to a second hour. So you guys are coming through already. Thank you. I think Orgy's mistakes are coachable. He, for the majority of the game, played well for his second start, but these wide receivers are not helping him. I said week 1, teams load the box because they...
I think don't respect the pass.
Yeah, disrespect the pass. Yep.
Yeah, and he's right. And we saw Minnesota doing it. And I agree. I think we got to remember this too. For a second career start, Alex Orgy did show improvement. Hey man, and I am going to be a little sarcastic here, but he did have a career high of 86 yards a day. Okay, we're on our way to 100.
I was hoping for 100. I was with Will ND last night. We called into Mark, and I said, let's try to get 100. 86. Hey, moving on up.
Yeah. I mean, look, but I mean, I think we can all agree Orgy looked better this game than last game. The interception was obviously inexcusable. Do better, but let's see what he can do. He'll be a better quarterback as the season goes on.
Absolutely. Keith with the 5, that's what you call playing to the level of your competition. Usually the players drives coaches crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing, I made my comment about adjustments. Defensively, you got all the talent in the world. So there's no excuse for Wink to not make the proper adjustments. There's no reason Minnesota should be putting 21 on our ass. You know what I mean? Like, that's inexcusable. And in the fourth quarter. And I guess you could argue, well, our depth is a big reason that the boys were getting tired. But then again, that's the coach's responsibility to make sure I mean, we have enough talent where we shouldn't be giving up 41 to Minnesota. So, I mean, actually, I don't even want to hear the depth issue. Our depth is higher ranked and more talented than there's a lot of their starters. I don't want to hear that shit.
Y'all, breaking news. And we're gonna keep knocking these super chats out because of you, we have already unlocked our second hour.
There we
we're
go.
90 away from a third hour.
Let's go.
I so appreciate every single one of you, and we're going to get to every super chat before we continue on with everything else. Because you guys come first, you donated, we appreciate you. Elisha with the 5. Orgy made some throws that I didn't know he could make. Agree. Which made me question the coaches. If Orgy played like this, then why did Warren's? Well, okay, that's a little. Here's the thing. I will agree with you that I wasn't expecting a 16-yard pass to a wide receiver. I thought Colston would get almost all the receiving yards. So at least he's starting to spread it out to some receivers. But there's still a lot of work to do, I would say.
I'll say this. I was not surprised at the throws he could make. Those are actually the throws I thought he could make. I saw that in the spring game. I mean, I think he is capable. I think he's very capable of making those exact throws. I think he's capable of making more of those throws. I think anything long is where we're going to run into our problems. I don't think he has a good feel for it. Obviously, we saw it with the Colston pick. But the question is, why did Warren start? Apparently, he was more accurate. Apparently, I mean, look, Warren does seem to have a better arm. I don't think we disagree. It's just Warren obviously cannot be trusted with the ball to not be turnover prone. Plus, you know, we just for some reason the coaches they still do not trust Orgy. And another, I mean, it's just poor. I mean, the coach is really frustrating me. Like, I was just thinking about the play on that fumble at the end of the game.
Yeah.
The play call they did where they had Bredesen go across the center like that. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was strange.
Why are you adding complications to a simple play?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was odd. I really wanted to blame the center there, but it was definitely not. It was putting Bredesen in that position. It was very strange.
But it's a play you don't need at that time. It's not going to add anything. You're going to run the damn ball, through the B gap or something. They're going to stop it in 3 yards anyways. Just kill the clock, man.
GT with the 10. We appreciate you. GT's a member and throwing 10 our way, contributor every week. We so appreciate you. On the 3rd and 1 in Q4, nobody was within 10 yards of Tyler Morris, and there was no check to hit him for an easy first down. I played QB in high school, and we would have converted that every single time.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it now back-to-back weeks where Orgy is missing open guys. We saw it with Samaj Morgan the week prior. We see it with Donovan Edwards this game. I missed the Tyler Morris one, but I'm going to trust you on that because I'm not surprised. He doesn't appear to have the vision yet, I don't think he has a feel for the playbook yet, to be honest. I don't think he knows where guys are. He's just not comfortable yet. That's what also blows my mind. For someone who's played quarterback for 3 years, and as much reps as he's gotten, because he was second QB last year. And then you have all of spring ball, all of summer camp condition, all that. They do stuff, off the field. And then you have fall ball, and you still don't look like you have he looks like a freaking redshirt freshman out there.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me, man. It's very disappointing. The coaching staff still is not impressing me.
Yeah, and look, I think that I will say, and I don't believe in blowing sunshine. I was happy to see some of the decisions early. I really was.
Oh, I agree.
But the wide receiver play is just crap. It's straight up crap.
And it's on Michigan.
Without Mullings, we are 2-3. Drufus with the 2. I don't think you're wrong. He has been the it factor. He has every single week. They finally got it right by putting him in the backfield, play number 1, but another game where he went for more than 100 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. I think you're right. Elisha with the 2. The coaches are wasting a 10-2 playoff roster. Well, we are still 4-1,
right,
so trending to 10-2. If the trend continues, that would be where we would end approximately. But it's not looking like a 10-2 at the moment in that second half.
I mean, we are 4-1. The next game's Washington. I think we'll beat Washington.
I
I
do
don't,
too.
but I mean, granted, we can't do what we did in the second half. That's like the way we play ball. We have no margin of error. Like we cannot afford to play sloppy like that. So, but I do think we can beat Washington. So I do anticipate a 5-1 start here. I think, yeah, I don't know. I think we'll be okay. I agree though. It's potentially possible we're going to waste some talent here.
Yeah, especially on defense, and Colston Loveland's probably going high in the draft as well. Not as high as Brock Bowers, but I think he'll still go maybe second round, or even very very
Second
late
round.
in the first. But I'd say
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, it's second round
Um,
likely with this offense.
yeah. How about this? How about Michael Newman? This guy with the 50 dropping stacks. Go Blue. Thank you so much for that. I like Orgy. I think he's a great teammate, but playing Orgy based on a winning result is a classic fallacy. If we want to run the triple option, fine, but we're not. Still a pro style offense that's 80% run. Tuttle is healthy and average. Try him.
Well, he's not healthy. That's the biggest hurdle with Tuttle right now. So
Yeah.
he's still dealing with his elbow injury. I don't even know if he's fully practicing yet. I do know in warm-ups he's not 100, like he's not even doing all the warm-ups as all the other quarterbacks. He's out there, he's dressed, but he's not yeah, so the Tuttle thing is going to have to wait. I know the fan base is kind of craving a solution here. I think the Tuttle experiment's going to if things continue going the way they're going, I think we'll get the Tuttle experiment at some point. Because I don't think Sharon's fully invested, or invested is not the right word, fully trusting into Orgy. But it is what it is right now, guys. I mean, and look, I know we're frustrated. We're watching this team with potential, have these major flaws that are killers. They're huge hindrances to this team's ceiling, and it limits us greatly. And it also puts us in a position where, like, you play against an Illinois, you better be on your game, or they're going to get you. And they're the game after Washington, so that's a concerning game for me. Um, so we'll see. Again, our frustrations. And I know we have them because like I said, I've gotten some DMs from some people I know that are watching. Um, they need to be directed at the coaches, and then but we'll also take a week to week approach because we are 4-1, guys. We do have to acknowledge that and appreciate it
Guys,
for what it is.
you are all killing the super chats tonight. I
Thank you,
love
guys.
it.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you
guys.
so much. It just keeps flowing, and so we're gonna keep taking them as long as they come. That's what we do here. Jobu with the 2. You need refs in the pocket when you have a crap QB. So you think the refs are in the pocket?
All I know is the refs know ball. That's all I know. I mean, expert ball knowers, certified ball knowers, they know what they're doing out there.
Yeah, sure.
That's all I know.
Yeah, that onside kick. I mean, that was interesting.
Great eyes. Great
Yeah,
eyes.
great. Eagle eyes there.
Hey, they're just after the
Look,
integrity of the game, man. I respect it.
Look, Michigan's had some ref calls go against them over the years, and this is just, they're just trying to make sure the scales are even.
Yeah, I don't ever want to hear about refs ever again because of the 2016 Ohio State game. So I'm over
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
GT with the 5. To clarify, there was no one lined up within 10 yards of Tyler Morris. Just throw him the ball at the line
Yeah.
of scrimmage, and it's a first down.
GT, I would say it's possible that that's not a part. Maybe he's not the first progression and Orgy's not even aware. But to your point too, you need to have pre-snap awareness and you need to
Yeah.
identify where the DB's at. And sometimes you make an adjustment. So, I mean, I'd have to look at the play to fully know. But I mean, that is where an experienced quarterback like a JJ, he probably would make that throw. It's where Orgy, I'll be honest with you. And Joe Cladd even said it in the game. He needs time for the game to slow down. Well, we don't got time, bro. It's week 5. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
played last year, Orgy,
Yeah. I see him go through progressions. I see
we're
him look
seeing
around
you're
the
now
field.
seeing it.
He is doing it to an extent, but he missed Samaj last
But
week,
yeah. But
and now we're seeing this. So like he needs to do a better job, but at
yeah.
least he's not automatically forcing it to Colston every single time. Like he is looking around. To his credit, that's improved slightly. But obviously that pick, I don't know what was happening there. Wide open Donovan Edwards, like you talked about. So let's keep the super chats rolling here because we've got Elisha with the 10. I think the reason Orgy misses downfield reads is the same reason Warren didn't throw it downfield. I think coaches are telling him where to look, and since we are a time of possession team,
I don't think the coaches are not saying make the throw if it's available. I think they're. I wouldn't. I think Elijah's insinuating that because we want to maintain time of possession and control the clock, that maybe we're not making the longer throws, or even if. But I would almost guarantee that if they're open, the coach is saying make the damn throw. I can't imagine that they would limit his options on any play. But I think the issue with his downfield reads is I don't think he has the time to get to them. I don't think he saw Donovan Edwards. I definitely know he didn't see Samaj Morgan last week. So, I think he's locking in when he sees an opportunity, and sometimes you gotta maybe pump, do one of these and then, get it to the next option in the route tree. So I don't know, man. I mean, we're gonna have to just kind of take it week by week. The good news is there was improvement. So we're seeing improvement. I'm interested to see next week. I actually think next week's another good game for us to get our stuff together. And what's funny is if we all watched the game today, the Joe Klatt and my man Gus Johnson was like, oh, Michigan's finding its identity. They're finding themselves. Well, in the first half, it did look like that. And then we saw what an inexperienced head coach with an inexperienced team does. They lost it. They lost momentum. They lost themselves. So, more work to do. They got to get back in the lab.
Yeah, for sure. Elisha took a flag for Warren to throw deep to Klein. What are we referring to? I wonder here.
It took a flag for Warren to throw.
You mean Orgy?
Maybe he's referring to when Davis Warren was in. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to. I can't recall the game you're referring to.
But thank you for the 2. B. Pierce with the 5. Morris and Bell were getting 10 yards off the ball. These should be the reads for Alex.
Yeah, I got to rewatch the game. This is something I'll pay attention to because you're bringing it up. GT brought it up. If that's the case, and I didn't identify it, then the coaching staff, who Kirk's in his helmet. Kirk doesn't just need to tell him to play. Kirk can give him cues. Kirk needs to let him know, hey, DB's 10 yards off. Get a quick out here. Throw a quick out, hit your guy, and then, make the play happen. And he can let him know in the huddle, hey, be on the lookout. I'm going to do a quick throw here to you. Let's make it happen. That can be communicated. The Kirk Campbell, that's another thing too. Is we have guys in the box. They're watching this, right? So why are they not making the adjustments? So that's something I'm going to have to watch when I do the replay.
Absolutely. I've said it too. I mean, you're 100% right. I think we're both going to rewatch the game here and give our final thoughts on Tuesday. But for Michigan Wolverines live, 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday night, with special guest Lars Hansen from Locked On Huskies or Huskers. He covers Washington. He's been on the Voice of College Football, and he's coming on to our show on Tuesday. Elisha with the 5, and honestly, the pass blocking is bad. Orgy had to leave the pocket so many times, which is why I give him grace for his second start.
Yeah, so much for Sharon Moore's comment. The offensive line will remain elite as long as I'm here. It has been bad. I'm interested. I need to see if I can find the metric where we can look at how long Orgy's holding the ball before he releases it. I'm interested to see where that ranks. I don't know. I know they track it in the NFL. I got to see if they got it for college. It's the offensive line it's not in sync. I mean, I would say it's better than where it was against Texas, but it's not to a high level of play right now.
Yeah. I think there are times when the line is giving him some time to throw, and there are times when it isn't. And so I definitely saw early on he had some moments where he had some time to throw, but it's inconsistent for sure. And as you mentioned, Evan Link, if he's the best option at right tackle, that's just sad. If Gentry and Percy aren't aren't there?
We knew since spring ball there was a right tackle issue. The Andrew Gentry, you know, we on our show we talked about some of the fall camp rumbling or spring ball rumblings, and Andrew Gentry was very inconsistent, up and down, week to practice to practice, and they were looking for a right tackle in the portal. Well, they didn't get one. They didn't land one. They didn't get one to enter the portal. That's what big boy programs do. You get players into the portal. You talk to agents. It's legal to do that as long as you don't contact the player. That's how this works. Yeah, so I mean, it's on Michigan, man. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it falls on the coaching staff here. They got to do a better job building the roster and solidifying any weak spots. I mean, this isn't, you know, this is big time ball, man. This is Big Ten football now, you know, and you got to get it together real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a question here about from Michael Newman about the Josiah Stewart injury. A question about that, and I'm curious about Will Johnson too. While we're at it, because
so it was I don't know. Like, those were surprises to me. I didn't hear anything about him.
Me neither.
Josiah Stewart was really surprising to me. There was no indication that was going to be the case. So I don't know. The thing about college ball is they don't really release injuries. Occasionally things leak, like the Tuttle injury. Like, I know it's an elbow injury that leaked, but like certain injuries, I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know. You know, we'll see. We'll try to remain tapped in on that and see if we can get it for you guys Tuesday.
Yeah. And so Will Johnson was like, out there, not with helmet on, but dressed, and he was out there supporting his guys. When Makari went down, he was out there with them. So it makes me think that they were keeping him out to be cautious.
All right, I have an update. So Will Johnson and Josiah Stewart were both game time decisions. They went through warm up. So whatever they're dealing with is minor.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was this is Minnesota, and we're gonna be cautious.
Yep.
Okay. Conversation with your stranger. Apologies, it took us a bit to get to yours, but we've just been getting a lot of awesome contributions from our community. So with the two, why isn't Jaden Davis being considered?
The reason Jaden Davis is not being considered is a few reasons. There's a few variables here. One is parents want him to redshirt. They have communicated that to the program. That's what they want. The other variable is he needs to add size and strength, not only just for durability reasons, but also throwing power. There's been some, I would say, rumblings out of Ann Arbor that maybe his throwing strength is not up to par yet to make some of the throws that they're looking. But, you know, it's funny when I say it, I'm like, well, Orgy's doing short to intermediate passes. I know Jaden Davis could probably do that. So I don't know. I mean, that's what one of the reasons is. And then the other reason is his throwing motion is a bit, he has a windup that's a little out of the norm. And the problem is when you have an offensive line like our offensive line, where quarterbacks have limited time to throw the ball, when you have a quarterback with a slight mechanic kink, it delays the throw, thus making sacks a higher probability. And they don't want to put Jaden Davis in the line of fire and mess up his confidence at a young age. Because, you know, the thing about quarterback, it's similar to goalie in hockey or pitching in baseball. It's very mental. And once you lose that mental edge, we saw like Dontrell Willis was one of the best examples I can give to this. If anyone remembers Dontrell Willis for the Tigers and when he was with the Marlins, once you lose that mental confidence, it doesn't matter how talented you are, like, it's gone. So, you know, you see it in those three positions you see it in all positions. I mean, basketball players with shots and stuff like that. But like, the point being is, they just don't want to destroy the kid's confidence. They want to build them up more before they put them out there.
Absolutely. I don't have much to add on that because we've been kind of consistent on covering this over our shows. So definitely keep watching Michigan Wolverines Live on Tuesdays, the call-in show on Thursdays, and this show, because we keep you updated on these things. And Jaden Davis, the family doesn't want him to be that option because they don't have any other options, right? And they're just going to throw him out before he's ready. He's also still running scout team with Denegal. So he's not at the level. Clearly the coaching staff doesn't see him at the level, and the insiders that we're hearing from also don't see him at the level of the others. That's where we're at.
It's really rare for a freshman quarterback to be ready. Like, you know, the Raiola stuff in Nebraska or what Trevor Lawrence was able to do at Clemson, like, this is rare. It's so rare. You got to be very unique. JJ wasn't ready. It's just you got to give this kid some time to grow and develop here. But again, I know we're looking for solutions, so I get it.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much. They keep rolling in. Elisha with the 5. When Mullings ran the first touchdown, it bothered me to see them give Edwards the next possession to go 3 and out. Yeah.
Let's look at the split here. What was
So
I mean, listen, I'll say this though.
24-9
which is
in
exactly
rushing.
what we said, John.
Mm-hmm.
I told you guys I would like to see Donovan Edwards get 5 to 9 carries a game. They hit that number for me, and I wanted Khalil Mullins to get, I said 18 to 22. They went 24. We didn't get any Ben Hall though, so they're not listening enough. But it's funny, man. I love our takes, John, because I mean, we seem to kind of be hitting. We seem to be hitting, man. But interesting the splits. I mean, 9 carries for Donovan Edwards. I'm not angry at it, but look at this: 3.8 average. Like what is that? Yeah, so that's got to improve. I mean, at least Mullins had a 4.6. That's solid. Ben Hall, man, Ben Hall time. Let's get a little more Ben Hall action. I don't know.
Yeah, what's up with? Let's see him. Why not?
They really want to give Edwards all the opportunity in the world, though. I mean, you can just tell they really do.
Yeah. Dadoy with the 2. I don't know if this was said, but it feels like Rutgers 21. It's like the Michigan Rutgers game in 21. Is that what?
I thought he was going to say the one in 2020 where we went to overtime to win.
Yeah, that one, it felt more like that.
That's
honestly.
the one I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, the way Michigan gave up the lead, or at least let the lead or the gap close. I mean, it's just, yeah, the team faltered today. It's just what it is.
Elisha with the 2. He could have went back in. Another Sharon lie.
Which one? Who are we referring to, Elijah?
Yeah, you'll have to let us know.
If you comment,
yeah, I'll try to read your comment if you let us know who we're talking about. Brian with the 5. Second half clown show. Defense was the worst part. Orgy showed improvement despite the one terrible throw, but the play calling is so bad. We're doing a defense segment, by the way. But thanks to your generosity, we're reading. We always read these first, so we will get there.
Yeah, I'll save my defensive takes till we get to this segment.
Elisha with the 2. With that O-line, I wouldn't put in Jaden Davis. You're not wrong.
He'd get eaten alive, man. He would get eaten alive right now. I mean, the offensive line's just not there. The wide receivers are not there. That's the thing too. Is like, okay, who's he throwing it to?
Right. Michael is coming through in the clutch today. Okay, another 5 from Michael, and we really appreciate you. 1:40 left, up by 10. Just need to prolong the drive and not give up a fast touchdown. Wink calls 2 6-man rushes in a row.
I know. So I'm going to hit on that when we go into this segment. I mean, I don't get it. This is what we were warned about, though. That's what I'll just say. We were warned about this.
Absolutely. And then this brings us down, thanks to Elisha, this brings us down to 33 away from the 3rd hour. We're already going 2, but you're 33 away, you get a 3rd hour. The RPO is working. Did we get away from it?
We got away from a lot. We got away from some of the motions we were doing. We got away from some of the play action we were doing. I think, I don't know. It's like the team, it's like Sharon was just like, okay, just run Khalil Mullins, B gap, outside run here, A gap run here. It lost its, like, I don't want to say creativity because it was never really creative, but it was a strong play calling from, given our strengths in the first half. I don't know. It's like they almost went conservative, even more conservative to our already conservative play style. Sharon needs to have a late night tonight. I think he needs to watch, and he will. I think he will. Like, I don't think he's going home thinking we had a great game today. I mean, I think he's going to put the work in, but he's got to look in the mirror on this one.
Well, let's go ahead and tackle the defense. We had a couple of super chatters asking about it. What was your take on? And I will just say before you go, I will say also tale of two. Just like with in general, it definitely felt like to me they had their they came off with some intensity in the first half, but some of the Wink Martindale decisions and some of the 6-man, as we're talking about these blitzes and things, yeah, there's been some question marks on his decision making. TJ, what was your thought on the defense today?
It was far better last week than this week. I
Mm-hmm.
think, I think Jair Hill is definitely a positive and a bright spot right now. I think we're starting to see him really grow and develop, and I'm excited for Will Johnson to get back because I think those two are going to be. I think Jair Hill is getting close to elite status on the other side of the defense. I think Jair Hill is really stepping up. I think he's a name. I think he's becoming a name like we anticipated, along with Zeke Berry. I mean that strip he had at the fumble was absolutely just excellent awareness and good football play. Obviously, Mason Graham had a day today. I think he's going to win our Leaders and Best Award, even though I think I just cut the line and announced it. Houseman, I thought Houseman looked really good today. I really did. I thought Houseman really shined today. I thought the defense up until the fourth quarter did their job, John. I have that in my notes. The defense did their job. And then I have notes, except for the fourth quarter, John, except for the fourth quarter where they give up 21 freaking points. And I'm not even going to put that on. I'm going to put that on two things. What do I think caused that, John? I think one. I think we got tired. I think our lack of depth started to have an effect. And I
Yep.
had Darren Talks Ball texted me during the game, and he's like, "Did you see they had Ike Awana and Rayshon Benny out there on that scoring drive?" And I'm thinking, and I didn't. There's another thing I didn't notice. There's just so much going on in the game. I didn't identify it, and but it's because they're trying to get these guys rest because they're lacking the depth. This is one of the concerns we had, and then it's play calling. Wink Martindale is letting the defense down, putting guys on islands, making them vulnerable, putting them in positions that is not optimal for success. His timing on some of these blitzes are piss poor. Why are you doing a 6-man blitz when it's like at the 15-yard line and there's no need for this? Like, I don't even know what you're doing. You're leaving guys on islands. You're letting them get exposed. This is not Don Brown shit, but you're not far from it. You got to do a better job, Wink. I mean, you were doing fine in so much of what you were doing today. Although I will say this too, there was a bit of a lack of pressure today. I know Mason Graham had 2 sacks. I think, let me look up the stats here real quick. I think, how many sacks did we have on the day, John? 2, 3,
It
4.
was 5, I believe. Yep, 5.
5 sacks. I mean, that's actually pretty good. But I also thought at times during the game today, specifically the third quarter, there was a lack of pressure. Now, granted, Josiah Stewart was out. That's going to happen. Will Johnson locking down one side of the field. That's going to happen, right? You're losing 2 NFL players, 1 top 10 player, arguably 2 day 1 and day 2 players. So, yeah, that's going to affect your your defense. But even so, when you have Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, and where was Derek Moore today?
I didn't see him do
Don't know.
much.
Don't know. I do think another bright spot I think that's on the rise is Brandon Hillman. I think he's starting to shine. I think Quentin Johnson's going to lose that job at some point.
Yeah.
And I think,
Jair.
and
Jair
also,
is looking better. I think Jair
yeah, yeah,
and Barham, as Elisha just said in his $2 super chat. Barham played a little better. He blew up a guard. So some pieces, some of our athletes on D are stepping it up a little.
yeah. The last thing I want to hit on with the D, John, is what is up with our missed tackling?
Yeah, that's not like
What
us.
is this arm tackling bullshit, bro? Why are we arm tackling, whiffing on guys? Like the amount of yards after contact is wild. Like it's normal if you're USC or you're a Big 12 team. This is not normal for Michigan football. Uh, it's just the reality is in the second half. To I guess if you want to hit on conclusions, John, or do you wanted to take it? Do you want to give your take on defense?
I mean, I've been sprinkling my take throughout, but yeah, I think the bottom line is, yeah, it's not even like Don Brown. It's like Alex Grinch. I mean, with respect to the inability to bring guys down, I mean, that is not Michigan behavior, and I did see some. Here's the thing. Like last year, what was so good about the back half of that season was the consistency across the board. Whereas here, you see semblances of like the of what we did last year. You see semblances of the physicality, and then there's just like plays that are just like, what was that? And it's on both sides of the ball. And how do you get that consistency? Well, I think Herbert and his absence is starting to really show up here. Because I think part of the consistency is Herbert's daily regimen that he put on the players. He was one of their primary points of contact, and he established that like physicality, that culture. And maybe Tress, there's some gaps there.
Yeah,
I don't
he's not
know. I mean,
Herbert.
I'm not there, but he's not
Well,
Herbert.
yeah, I mean, I think that's actually a great point that I didn't think. I mean, I've thought about it previously, but not today. You're probably right. The loss of Coach Herbert is having its effect as well, man. I mean, the mentality, the mental. It wasn't just endurance and physical strength; it was the mental development that he put these players through, uh, turning these dudes into legit savages who. No matter the situation, no matter the elements, they're gonna figure out a way. That's what's Coach Herbert's philosophy is. You figure out a way. It doesn't matter what's in front of you. Sometimes I think we are seeing this team take lapses, and we're not used to that. That's a new development, and it's frustrating as hell to watch.
Absolutely. We've got two
I
more.
know I know how Ohio State feels. It sucks.
Yeah, Michael, another one. DJ Khaled over here with the 5 against Texas, and then fourth quarter today. We put subs out, Benny and Ike, who are good, but we need dominant, and teams go hurry up and get fast touchdowns.
I think Rayshon Benny's fine. I'm curious with Ike Awana. I'd like to see more from Enow Etta, but I really think the drop off comes behind Derek Moore and Josiah Stewart. I mean, I think TJ Guy, we saw him get a sack today. Man, I expected more out of him. He still looks raw. He looks really raw to me. We don't have the rushers behind Josiah Stewart and TJ and Derek Moore. We just don't. And I think that's one of the bigger issues. I think that's a bigger issue than Rayshon Benny. I think Rayshon Benny's actually would be a starter on 80% of Power 4 teams. Probably 90, to be honest. I mean, he's a damn good player. He'll probably make it to the NFL. Ike Awana, yeah, I've seen him get pushed back a little too much.
Yeah. Elisha bringing us to just $19 to go to get a third hour of the show. Let's go here. Elisha with the 5. We have the personnel, but Wink increasing his inner Don Brown on that last TD driver, man blitzing 2 times in a row, and TJ, even Joel Klatt pointing it out. Like, what are like kind of in like a what are we doing? What are they doing type of sense.
It almost feels like he's trying to be creative and catch an offense off guard, but it's like the quarterback was waiting for it. He got rid of that ball so quick when he did that. Like, what are we doing here? Just play consistent ball, Wink. You're not outsmarting these quarterbacks. You're just not. That's one thing. Like, Wink Martindale thinks he's going to outsmart these guys. You're not. And I'll be honest, so far, 5 games in, yeah, we're looking at a downgrade from Jesse Minter and Mike McDonald. That's
Absolutely.
just what it is. That's just what it is. Now, don't get me wrong, though, there's room for improvement, and it's possible this defense does get its shit together and Wink Martindale finds himself. But as it stands with our current sample size, a bit of a downgrade.
Dodoy with another one here. What will we say if this team beats OSU, wins Big Ten? Have a fucking parade? Like,
all right. What will we say? We're doing like a 24-hour stream. Drinks are on me. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we're partying our asses off. So we're gonna do. Yeah, we'd go nuts, man. I mean, listen, I still got to see what Ohio State has to offer because their strength of schedule is 131st in the nation. So those Buckeyes who are beating their chest with Will Howard, you're going to be regretting Kyle McCord went to Syracuse. But that said, we'll see. I mean, I do think Ohio State's one of the better teams in college football, and hopefully Michigan can find itself by that game. But I'm not. I need a better opponent to see what Ohio State really is. I do think they are, even with their current 131st out of like 135 ranked schedule, I think they are probably a top 5 team in the nation, but I'm still in observation mode, and I'm definitely not sold on Will Howard. I don't think he's an upgrade.
All right. Well, we're about to, TJ, the callers have been waiting very patiently. We appreciate that. But we do want to give a one more message from the sponsor today, Win Agency. Thank you, Win Agency, so much. At the Win Agency, their priority is ensuring that you and your family have the proper health coverage every single year. They understand that healthcare needs change over time, which is why they take the time to evaluate your specific situation. The team at Win Agency doesn't just stop at finding a plan. They're committed to reviewing your coverage every year to guarantee it continues to meet your evolving needs. They go above and beyond to provide the best possible service, making the entire process as simple and stress-free as possible. In fact, if the Win Agency offered any better service to Michigan fans, the NCAA might just feel compelled to open up a 5-year investigation.
And they would.
Throw the hammers in there for that one. Everybody hammer, Fisher Price hammer emoji. Thank you so much to the Win Agency. You guys rock, and we really thank you for sponsoring Michigan Postgame Live this season.